and then maybe take a trip over to Fort Stanton for a little bit, and then come back for the concert and the pageant grounds in the evening there. Kind of make a whole day of that whole area. And Fort Stanton, if you guys have, that's a hidden gem. I mean, I knew it existed, but I'd never really got a chance to go back through the barracks and everything up until recently. And there is you could easily get lost a day in that place too.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and it tied into to Lincoln what was going on.
Yeah,
Colonel Dudley was stationed, and so many of your participants in the Lincoln County War were ex-military.
Matter of fact, isn't Murphy and Tunstall? I think wasn't Tunstall stationed
Tunstall
there?
Tunstall was actually out of England.
Okay.
And he just come with money bags. He was looking for an opportunity. But Murphy was definitely out of Fort Stanton. And there was a huge Irish connection with tons of people there. But they would march back and forth from Lincoln to Fort Stanton. I mean, there was constantly soldiers, especially during this time, because they were trying to get a handle on everything.
Well, if I remember right, basically Lincoln was kind of the supply line for Fort Stanton, right? Like they get all their beef and everything through Lincoln, and if I remember reading right, like I think I kind of put together on my head. I bet when Murphy was there in the military, I'm guessing he was probably somewhere involved with the supply side of things, and he realized, hey, I can be on the other side, and decided to set up shop as a selling goods to the military and stuff as a civilian out of Lincoln. And I'm guessing somewhere along those lines is how his life settled there in Lincoln, New Mexico.
Yeah, no doubt. And a lot of that ties into why Tunstall came and opened his store, because Murphy had the run of it. I mean, imagine you're the only gig in town, you're going to give credit and you're going to charge whatever you want, because what's people going to do?
Right.
And when Tunstall came in, that was just another faction of tension right there, along with the government beef contracts. There was huge government beef contracts, and no one was playing the game that Murphy could with those beef contracts until Tunstall came in.
And Tunstall upset the apple cart.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, just tension from tension to tension. I mean, you start with a life insurance policy in New York City, where McSween went and was hired by Murphy Dolan to go get this life insurance policy that was Emil Fritz. And he gets to New York, and somehow that life insurance policy ends up with McSween. And that starts the whole thing off. And then you get into tensions of government beef contracts and stores. And I mean, it just builds to what eventually ended up just a bloody mess.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, some pockets got lined pretty well too, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
But that's that. But here we go. When we talk about history and the amazing part in studying it, look at New Mexico today. Look at the landscape we live in today, and you could point back to these points in history and saying, see, this is the evolution that's part of all of that, and that's who we are as New Mexicans, and that's good, bad, the ugly, but that's what happened here, and and now we can understand why things are the way they are sometimes, and to me that's an amazing thing to go back and see it and study it and understand it, and that's it's a lot of fun and great time with family, but going to old Lincoln days is a chance to really peel back and get a deeper understanding of who we are. And who we are as New Mexicans, and how we came to be here, and all that kind of stuff. So
sure, and one of the things that's forgotten as far as Billy the Kid goes, and we have it there at Captain too, with Smokey Bear.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are things that people know and relate to, but don't have a clue. A lot of them don't have a clue really where this stuff happened. This stuff happened right in our backyard. It's right here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's sitting right here. So you can go, you don't know how many I've talked to from Vietnam, from Japan, from Europe, all over the place, that has planned their vacation around the last escape of Billy the Kid, because they know who Billy the Kid is and they love it. They love that Western history.
Yeah.
And that's right in our backyard. and the state and the people of Lincoln have done a tremendous job preserving the place.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the best preserved place in America, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And if you haven't been to the courthouse, speaking just real quick on the preserving,
sure.
One thing, if you haven't been to the courthouse recently, I was just there a month ago. You can start walking on a lot of the original flooring again, and I know that
awesome.
Some people are kind of like, what? But yeah, the original flooring and everything in that courthouse, it's there, but they've been put plywood over it to protect it, and now they've shored it up again to where they're letting people walk on portions of it. It's which to me is cool in of itself, because you're walking the same footsteps in the same places that all these people we talk about, Billy the Kid on down, right there. We're walking on their footpaths, or going on the same ones you are when you're going looking through it. It's pretty cool.
No, that's exactly right. And like I said, it's awesome because there's some people don't even know New Mexico's in the U.S.
Right,
but they know who Billy the Kid is. Young Guns came out, and however many documentaries, and people know Billy the Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they may not know that the state he did all this in is a state,
right,
but they know Billy the Kid,
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a huge piece of relating to what New Mexico is.
Absolutely.
I mean, he just became huge through dime store novels, and he became bigger than life. He really did.
Yeah. The only one thing that I don't know that because obviously we all watch the Young Guns movies, and I grew up in Maryland and DC area. I too learned of Billy the Kid's exploits through those movies, and then I came here and moved here and said, "Oh man, those Young Gun movies actually had some historical accuracy to them, somewhat."
There was some.
But,
there was some, and then there was some that you had to do a little Hollywood stuff, but that's part of it.
Exactly.
That's what happens. But Young Guns was huge.
Yeah.
People still talk about that, and they still. I mean, it was some great movies. It was great.
I think one of the things that I necessarily, and this is where the lines get blurred a little bit, and Lincoln does a great job of it. When you start going through and reading the history and reading in the courthouse and in the various buildings downtown, down through the town and everything, they do a good job of explaining this. But I think the Young Guns movies almost, of course, the hero in those movies are Billy the Kid and that side of things, and granted, the Tunstall side and breaking up, all that's the good guys' side on things, but there's a lot of law enforcement, a lot of good men that died on both sides of this, and I think we forget that sometimes, and we in our heads kind of like, okay, Murphy's side bad guys, Billy the Kid and Tunstall's good guys, and to be honest, it's a whole lot muddier than that. It really is.
Oh, it is definitely cloudy. I promise you. But that's one thing people. Because you hear both sides, but I hear it all the time. Well, he was just a killer of police. Well, he really wasn't, because the regulators and the kid were actually deputies at one time.
Sure, yeah.
So they were deputized. They were lawmen at one time. So you can't do that time period to this time period and call that equivalency.
Sure.
Because it wasn't. When you say, well, they killed cops. Okay, well, what about Brewer? When Brewer was killed by Buckshot Roberts, he was deputized. He was a lawman.
Yeah,
the kid was a lawman then. So how do you say that? I mean, it doesn't match up.
Yeah,
and it's not like today. Today you have a clear definition.
Sure,
you have the law, and you don't. Clear definition.
Sure.
Back then, who really was the law? Who wasn't the law? I mean, it's totally not on the same level.
Yeah,
so,
I understand.
So I've heard that argument.
Sure. Well, and I guess I think the point I'm making is everybody was badged up. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. Yeah.
It's just muddy,
Sure. No, you kind of had to pick what you felt was beneficial to you. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
And then that's where you lean. that's the side you went to.
And literally the town did the same thing, right? During the time. I mean, there were some people that were supporting the Murphy side and others supporting the Tunstall side, and they had various hideouts, and men from the various groups were, hiding in different buildings there, or calling different headquarters, and even though they weren't necessarily exactly Tunstall or Murphy people, their factions kind of aligned with those people, and it was. I mean, it was a big deal. Am I pretty close on that? As far it was.
Oh, really, absolutely. There was a guy named Jesse Evans, and there's a book written about him. And I've always believed Jesse Evans was way more of a bad cat than even the kid himself. I mean, this guy would actually be on this side this day because they're paying him. Uh-huh. And the next day he was totally shooting at the side that paid him yesterday. I mean, this guy, you talk about sleeping with one eye open.
No kidding.
That's what you had to do. And think about this. Houston Chapman, who was the lawyer that was shot in the middle of the street in front of the courthouse, his body burns, and it burns all night in the street, okay, because of the black powder that lit his clothes on fire. Well, what's the kid doing? The kid is there and witnesses Chapman killed. Who kills Chapman? Dolan. Why is the kid and Dolan together? Have you ever thought of that?
No.
Why is the kid and Dolan together so the kid can see him shoot Chapman? So there's things that I'm sure go
sure.
deeper than.
Well, and it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. And I'm sure, think about, if this was going on like in your neighborhood or something and everybody, yeah, okay, there might still be even moments, Civil War. I mean, how many times did the sides mingle and interact? At the end of the day, we all chewed the same dirt. So
right.
there's
but what's crazy is here you spent your whole time trying to get this Dolan. You're after him. There's bloodshed. Your buddies have been killed by him. And all of a sudden, here you're going to be able to turn state's evidence against him.
Sure.
Because you're in the same street seeing him shoot this lawyer.
Sure.
So you sit there and think, well, why didn't you just plug him? Why are you, it's just, some of the stuff just mingles and it's just crazy.
I'm curious in because obviously at some point the cavalry's getting involved in this from Fort Stanton and all that, but were they in the Murphy pocket at that point because of obviously Murphy's connections being from the fort and his connections with the meat? Were they kind of his henchmen there, or were they really independent?
Well, there is that tie.
Yeah.
And when you look at that tie, put it this way, the military goes into Lincoln, and during the 5-day battle, there's 3 or 4 buildings occupied by the McSween faction.
Mm-hmm.
The military comes in, they face their howitzers at the Montano store.
Yes.
And when they do that, they don't even have to fire a shot. They just face it at the Montano store, and here that whole area runs and leaves.
Okay.
So when that happens, now you've faced the whole high point of this battle. You've turned and you've faced right to the McSween house.
Gotcha.
You don't have to worry about anything else in town. So they didn't even fire, excuse me, they didn't even fire a shot right then.
Okay.
They didn't have to.
Just
the intimidation of that kind of gun has now leveled off for them and made them focus just on that McSween house.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and then the kid and them did state when they left the McSween house escaping, there was military guys taking shots at them. They stated that. They said, hey, the military's not supposed to be shooting at us, and here we're getting shots,
Right.
on the way out the door from them.
So it's kind of like, yeah, well, again, it's much like the times. Some are, the muddy part.
Yeah, really muddy. And, people don't think about it, but the real winner of all this, so somebody said, well, who was the winner of the Lincoln County War? The real winner, there were 2 winners. one, I think Billy the Kid, because look at the fame.
Sure.
I mean, look at what he's done for New Mexico in monetary value since then.
Yeah.
There's been thousands of dollars spent because of Billy the Kid in the state.
He's a superstar, and he hasn't been on this earth in over 100 years. So,
And I mean, we see it this coming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how much money is going to be spent because of this guy. You know,
you're right.
That made history. So I think he was a winner, and I think New Mexico was a winner because of him.
Sure.
But I think Dolan was a winner. He's the one that's still standing at the end of all this.
This is true.
You know, so who's left standing? Dolan. So who's probably the winner of the war itself? You'd have to say Dolan. I mean, I've seen a document. The San Juan Mission was built in 1887.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen a document where they're talking about donated materials to build the mission. Well, I get to reading, and the signature on there, and the guy writing it all is Dolan. He's the treasurer. He's the treasurer for the San Juan Mission. Now, how crazy is that?
Welcome to New Mexico.
Yeah. So to me, here's your two winners.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Really, I say the Kid was a winner, and he was, but I think the state was a winner because of the Kid.
Sure.
I mean, who would have known, like you said, this long afterwards, he's known so well, and he's brought so much monetary value to the state of New Mexico.
Absolutely, but even take the historical lessons learned from that time, and we're still learning from them today. It's just a neat piece of thing, and it's right here in our own backyard. And we're running out of time, but I do want to remind folks: go. If you've never been, go. If you've been in a while, go. If you went last time, go. It doesn't matter. It's just a great experience. It's August 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's right there in Lincoln. Get there during the day and visit all the different booths and everything that's going to be going on, but definitely make sure you're there for the concerts and for the Last Escapability Kid. Now, there's going to be Friday and Saturday night performances again, the 6th and 7th at 8:30 p.m., and then on Sunday, a matinee performance at 3 p.m. Get there early because the cost of admission includes tickets to a free concert beforehand. If you come out Friday night or Saturday night, you're going to get to enjoy the Clay Mack Band from Deming, New Mexico at 7 p.m. If you come out for Sunday, you not only get to be a part of the parade and Cowboy Church, all that kind of stuff, but you get to enjoy at 1:30 a concert with Susie Weber-Hildman and Olivia and Dan Hildman, and then at 3 o'clock will be the pageant itself. You can get your pageant tickets at the gate there, right by if you go park by the courthouse, all that, you'll at that end of town, you'll see it all right there. Admission is $10 for adults, kids $6 if you're 6 to 12, and then children 5 and under completely free. Best way is to get your tickets right there at the gate, probably, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll have ticket sales going all 3 days right there at the gate. And as I said, you know, you get out a really hot heat, you get to enjoy an evening and really take in some neat history, and one of the only, like I say, if not the only, true remaining folk pageants left in the United States.
Yes.
And we've got it right there.
Come see it, come and experience it. It's so cool. I love it every year. I think it's, there's certain traditions around our area, especially in that area, that I like to try to get to every year or to be a part of. And Lincoln's one of those. The other one's the Flying J Ranch, if y'all ever get a chance. That's a beautiful place to go
absolutely.
to.
Yep.
But
no doubt.
Definitely. Mark it on your calendars, August 6th through the 8th, here in beautiful Lincoln, New Mexico. Just a short, about an hour trip here, depending on how fast you drive. And we'll be then you're in the mountains, and it's just a great. Bring the whole family. Bring just a great sense of adventure because you're going to have fun. There's going to be great food. There's everything to experience is right there. It's all right there. You can walk right to a park and walk from one end of the town to the other and see everything and not completely be tuckered out either. It's really great. So awesome. Well, Kent, appreciate the visit as always. We'll talk to you again soon. We'll have to get you on the phone from some other stuff not relating to this, football or something. I don't know. You got so many other
Yeah.
areas we talk about, but
yeah, we can talk a little football. I know how to do that too, man. Believe it.
just don't mix them up. Billy the Kid and football at the same time.
That's what's great about this time of year. It's the pageant, but it's the start of football. And look at all the great things in fall. The pageant, at the beginning, then you got football, the green chili. I'm kind of helping you out with a lead in on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Apples, the whole bit. So, yeah, it's a great time of year. I'd love to talk to you more about whatever you want to talk about. Let it rip.
I think we should just start marketing it where Old Lincoln Days is the official gateway to fall, where that's the first event, and then all the other cool stuff starts. But it starts at Old Lincoln Days, and then we go right into football and green chili and all the other cool stuff. So
the whole bit. No, I totally agree. We can call it the gateway because that's what it's been to me. This will be my 45th year in this thing.
So you got pretty good at it at this point.
You know what? I kind of remember some of the lines by now. So yeah, no doubt.
They're in his sleep. Awesome.
Well, I sure did enjoy you, man. You sure do make it fun. So thanks a lot.
We do appreciate you, and thanks for joining us. And we'll talk again soon. Okay, Kent.
All right, man.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right, that was Kent McInnis talking Old Lincoln Days, August 6th, 7th, and 8th. It really isn't it's just a fun time. I highly recommend you get involved and go check it out. All right, it is 7:55. Let's do a quick news and break before, more news. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos